Benvindo a revisión el Urbana Viking. ¿Cómo está? That's my attempt at Portuguese. Whether I've pronounced it right, I don't know. Benvindo a revisión el Urbana Viking, which apparently means hello and welcome to the Urban Viking Hour Review. Right then, why am I slaughtering the Portuguese language, you might ask? Because I'm going to be doing a beer off. Before I do this, I'm going to do a shout to one of my subscribers. His name's Burms Weedhead on the channel. His name's Sam. He's a good bloke, and he watches the channel even though he's on the wagon. He's he does a bit of, he's into all the old bodybuilding and stuff like that. So he tends to sort of steer clear of the beer for the moment. But he likes to watch the channel, and I think it's a real honour. So Sam, thank you very much, mate. Dedicate this review to you, and it's going to be a battle of the Portuguese beers. These two beers were given to me by a friend of mine in work. Actually, it's two of them, Robert and Manuela. Robert's from Brazil, Manuela's from Portugal. The two beers are basically the beers that are pretty popular in the north and the south. You've got Super Bock, which is the popular beer in the north, which Manuela says is the best, but then again she's from the north of Portugal. And Sagres, which is from the south. Okay, I've never tried any of these beers, lagers. I'm assuming they're like macros, but I'm going to pour them in 2 glasses, and we'll have a go and see what they taste like. Here's the old Super Bock cap, and there's a Sagres. Okay, I had a look at these bottles earlier. I couldn't find any ABVs on them. I'm assuming they're about 4%, 4 or 5% for a lager. Right, the Super Bock I'm going to be putting in a Duchesse de Bourgogne, so I haven't got any small sort of lager glasses, so I'm going to have to use the Ponzi ones. And the Sagres is going to be going in the Ola Dub, so this will be really interesting. I've never tried any Portuguese lager, so, and it's a good excuse to drink 2 beers at once. What can be better than that? Right, colours. As you can see, there's no real difference between them at all. Nothing whatsoever, really. Right, let's see if we can get a nose on any of them. We'll start with the Super Bock. Yeah, it smells like your typical sort of lager. You're getting a very sort of, almost like a harsh wheaty note. A tiny bit of bitterness on the nose. Grassy, quite a fresh sort of grassy smell. It just smells like your average lager, really. And let's get a smell on the Sagres. See, the Sagres has got a very similar smell, but it's almost like a warmer sort of smell, if that makes any sense. It's a bit more subtle, not as harsh as the Super Bock. But all in all, they both haven't got that much of a nose. So let's go with the Super Bock first. I don't know what cheers for Portuguese is, so I'll just say cheers. Cheers! Cheers, Rob. Cheers, Manuela. This one's for you. This is from the north. Nice crisp lager. Very mild in the mouth. Not a load of carbonation. I was expecting quite a lot of it. Just getting a nice sort of lagery pilsner taste on the tongue. Not hardly any bitterness, really. Very clean finish. Really crisp. Basically, really what you want in a lager. If you're having a barbecue or something like that. This is basically what you want. You do get a bit of bitterness on the initial taste, but it fades so quick. Right, onto the Sagres whilst I've got this flavour in my mouth. Cheers. Yeah, that is really, really bland. It's quite watery. There is a little bit of a lager sort of taste, but it really does taste like a cheap lager. If I was to liken that to an English lager, I'd probably say no, actually no. What would that be? I'd probably say maybe a Coors Light even. Yeah. Actually no, that's more like a Heineken. Yeah, it's more like a Heineken. Very bland. You know, a tiny little bit of a lager taste on the finish, but a little bit of sweetness. But yeah, it's not the best of the two. This is nice. I quite like this one, Super Bock. Excuse me. It's definitely the better of two evils. I mean, both of them haven't got that much flavour. I mean, we're talking your generic lager here. But out of the two, I'd definitely go for the Super Bock. It's got a bit more of a crisper taste, it's got a nice lagery sort of finish, and it's just really refreshing. The Sagres is still a decent, you know, well not decent, but it's still a drinkable lager, you know. If it was a cold day and you had one of these in the fridge, of course you'd drink it, but if I had a choice between the two, it'd be the Super Bock. But who cares? Because I've got two glasses of lager, and you know, and that's what it's all about, really. So once again, thanks Rob, thanks Manuela for this request. Super Bock lager, 6 out of 10. Sagres, 5 out of 10. Any Portuguese people watching, I know you've got a bit of a passion between the north and the south. Please, I don't want any hatred with the Sagres fans. But cheers. In fact, let's have a show of unity. I'm going to unite Portugal just by doing this. Look at that. There you go. The north and the south. What they've been trying for hundreds of years to do, and look, there you go. I've done it in a glass. A fat bloke in Plymouth. Oh, that tasted wrong. Cheers.